The commutation of former Representative George Santos's 87-month prison sentence for fraud by President Donald Trump marks the latest and perhaps most stunning development in a political career defined by deception and rapid downfall. Santos, who was serving time for aggravated identity theft and wire fraud, was released after less than 3 months, bringing a sudden end to his incarceration but deepening the controversy over his brief tenure in Congress and the nature of presidential clemency. Summary and analysis of Santos' downfall. George Santos's time in office, spanning from January to December 2023, was historic for all the wrong reasons. Elected to represent New York's 3rd congressional district, revelations immediately surfaced that he had fabricated nearly every aspect of his professional, educational, and personal life. The most severe consequences arose from his federal indictments, which included 23 counts of fraud, money laundering, and theft of public funds. Specifically, he was charged with wire fraud and identity theft, stealing the identities of campaign donors to charge thousands of dollars to their credit cards without permission, and diverting the funds for personal use. Theft of public funds, fraudulently collecting unemployment benefits while already employed and running for office. False statements, vastly inflating his income and assets on required House financial disclosure forms. The accumulation of evidence, particularly a scathing report from the House Ethics Committee, led to his expulsion from the House in December 2023, a rare move that made him only the 6th member to be ousted in the chamber's history. His subsequent guilty plea in August 2024 and sentencing to over 7 years in prison seemed to close the chapter on his political life, solidifying his status as a convicted felon and the central figure in one of the most egregious cases of public deceit. Reasons and consequences of the commutation. Reasons for the commutation. President Trump's decision to commute the sentence was a direct act of executive power that reduced the penalty without overturning the conviction. The motivations appear to be political and personal. Political loyalty. Santos was a fervent public supporter of Trump and the MAGA agenda, even appealing directly to the president from prison. The commutation rewards this loyalty, aligning with Trump's pattern of granting clemency to political allies. Perceived injustice. The president himself framed the decision by suggesting Santos was targeted unfairly, stating that the former representative was a rogue, but did not deserve such a long sentence compared to others. This narrative appeals to a base wary of federal judicial and prosecutorial power. Short-term political gain. The act energizes supporters who view it as a demonstration of strength against perceived establishment overreach. Consequences of the commutation. Erosion of public trust. The commutation is widely seen as undermining the judicial process and congressional accountability. Santos was expelled by a bipartisan majority, and his conviction was based on his own guilty plea. Granting clemency suggests that political connections can trump accountability for serious financial crimes. Damage to party integrity. While Santos was already a pariah, the act forces Republican leaders to respond to an action that rewards a known fraudster, further complicating the party's effort to address ethics and integrity issues. Empowering future rogues. The decision sends a message that a severe sentence for high-profile financial and political deception can be undone by executive fiat, potentially encouraging future candidates to gamble on questionable conduct if they align with a favored political figure. Prediction and solutions. Prediction Santos's political and legal sagas will likely evolve into a new media and commentary career. Public life. Released from prison, Santos is expected to leverage his notoriety. He will likely use the media, social media, podcasts, cable news appearances, and platforms like Cameo to portray himself as a victim of a politically motivated witch hunt, aligning with the narrative used to justify his commutation. Financial future. The commutation relieves him of the burden of incarceration, but does not erase his legal financial obligations. He still faces the court-ordered restitution to his victims, though his ability to pay will depend on his post-release financial activities. Legal standing. The felony convictions remain on his record, barring him from holding most regulated professional licenses and complicating any future attempts to seek office. Solutions. Policy and ethical reforms. The The Santos case and subsequent commutation highlight critical vulnerabilities in the political system that require reform. Strengthening House ethics. Congress should adopt rules that facilitate the swift expulsion of members facing serious criminal charges, regardless of a final conviction. Especially when an internal investigation, like the one conducted by the Ethics Committee, finds overwhelming evidence of illegal conduct. Tighter campaign finance verification. Mandating more rigorous vetting of donor identity and campaign expenditures by the Federal Election Commission, FEC, is crucial to prevent identity theft and the diversion of funds for personal use, which formed the core of Santos's criminal actions. Executive clemency reform. To prevent the abuse of the commutation power for political cronyism, legislation could be considered to establish a mandatory, independent, and nonpartisan review board to vet all clemency requests. While the Constitution grants the President ultimate authority, a formal, transparent review process would introduce a necessary ethical layer and shield the power from overt political manipulation. This would promote the principle that clemency should serve justice, not political loyalty. Enhanced financial disclosure enforcement. The penalty for intentionally submitting false or misleading financial disclosure forms to Congress must be strengthened and consistently applied to ensure transparency regarding a lawmaker's sources of wealth and potential conflicts of interest.